Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gen Friends. I am your host, Cheri Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and with me tonight is Mary Kurcherati from MKR Genealogy. Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm doing great, Cheri. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad you're able to come and
Happy to be here.
talk about day 6 of relative
Yeah.
race. Day 6. Man, and what a fun episode this was. This was great. This is really cool. We started out with the red team kind of giving each other a pep talk and talking about, how much fun they're having and the love for their relatives, but they still have that eye on the prize, they were saying.
Yeah. They still want to go all the
Of
way, and
course.
they've had great success meeting people, but
Oh my gosh,
um,
haven't they? Great
yeah.
success meeting people. And then Team Black was sending out, as they started out, they were sending out really nice text messages to the other teams. It wasn't that trash texting this time. It was just positive and upbeat and have a great day and hope you do well and all that kind of stuff. So
They're nice girls.
they
Yeah.
really are nice
Yeah.
girls. I really, really like them. And then we had the blue team who wanted to stop. Well, Chandra wanted to stop. She wanted to stop. They were going through Amish country, and I can see wanting to. If I've never been.
I've been
So
and seen the
yeah,
buggies, and it's
I
just like,
can
oh, this is
imagine.
so cool.
Yeah, I can imagine wanting
Yeah.
to stop and talk to them, but she really wanted to, and he
Yeah.
was kind of like, "Well, go ahead, but I'm leaving you here. This is a race. This is a race. We are being timed, but I could see wanting to do that. So I just thought she was really cute how she wanted to stop. Um, Green team did pretty well. As they started out, they had a few troubles with their selfies and kept having to take
Yeah.
more selfies. And then I thought it was funny because they looked back on their selfies and they said, "No, wait a minute, we had the right one like 2 or 3 pictures ago," but they just kept
Yeah,
taking
they just
selfies.
weren't loading,
And
and
that was just
yeah.
really funny. That was just really, really funny. I absolutely loved the challenge. I loved the challenge this time. Do you want to
It
talk
was
to us about
so
the
fun. They
challenge?
were in these giant hamster balls. And so they had to go along a course, and there were barrels that were stacked up on top of each other with a big piece of foam cheese. And so they had to get all these cheeses into the hamster ball and keep rolling down the pathway. And they learned you could see, each time. First time they knocked it over, and then the barrels are in their path. And then how do we get out over the barrels? Because you can't really get a lot of momentum in that thing. So,
Right.
um,
They
you
would
know,
hang out and try to get that cheese
yeah,
and bring it in. And there was a workout for all 4 teams.
yeah.
It was a workout. When Team Blue got done, they just kind of they went, "Oh my gosh, we're in a race." They got out and
Well,
left.
and then Team Red, toward the end, they got the last cheese, and then or maybe second to last cheese, and they had to roll forward, and um, not Liz, the other one, but
Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
She said, "I can't get back up. Just go." So she's just like tumbling, like she's in a
A
washing
dryer.
machine.
A
Yeah,
dryer. And they were giggling. That was so cute. They were
yeah,
just giggling and giggling. I think for all 4 of the teams, it was just so much fun. And it was so much fun to watch. And I'm thinking, I think in a lot of places you can rent those balls.
I know that
Yeah.
when we lived in Australia, they had them in New Zealand. There was a place that you could go and do
Oh,
hamster
wow.
balls. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, just chalk another one up for a family reunion, that
yeah,
would be, again, so much fun to be able to do. So,
yeah.
I loved it. I think that was one of my favorite challenges that I've seen in any season. I just thought that was so much fun, and they weren't frustrated, and they weren't stressed out. They were tired from pushing
Yeah.
that ball around, but you didn't see the frustration they weren't getting upset, and they were just having fun for the
Yeah,
most
it was
part.
really just a physical thing. Some of
Yeah.
them really have a big mental component. And this one,
Yes.
really, there wasn't a lot of problem solving you had to do.
No.
You just had to move.
Move, exactly. So it probably was a nice
Yeah,
change,
yeah,
just to get out of that car from driving.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
it was really fun. I
Yeah.
really, really, really enjoyed that. We had some really fun, interesting relatives that they met this time. The green team, as they're traveling, they're going into Arizona and they start going towards a campground and they're starting to say, "Why or are people on vacation? Are we going camping?"
Well, they missed you. They um they were driving down the road, and then all of a sudden they hear, this stop, turn around, you cannot come here. And they
That's
were
right.
like on a US government
Yes,
military
I
base or
remember that.
something.
Yes, yes,
There's no
yes.
secret thing. So they had to turn around and get out of that area. And
Exactly.
I know we have a military base here in
Mhm.
Washington, and I think my cousin kind of got turned around one time and tried to go into the military
Yeah,
base, just not
yeah.
realizing where this road was leading to him.
Oops.
So, yeah,
Yeah, that was really funny. That was really, really
yeah,
funny. So they get and their relatives are camping, which I thought was really funny, you know? I mean, so what do they do? Contact these people and say, "We want you to be on the show," and they say, "Well, we actually have booked
vacationing.
we actually will be on vacation. We've already paid for it. We've already so can they come to us?" You wonder how that conversation goes down, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
But it turned out so fun for them because they were camping at Lake Powell, and if you've ever been to Lake
yeah,
Powell, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and so they were tubing and they were kneeboarding, and both of them were having so much fun. They were just
yeah.
laughing, and you saw another side of Kevin we haven't seen. He's just laughing, both of them having such
Yeah,
a great time. This was a cousin on Marcus's father's side is what this cousin was, but it was so fun. They just really were having a good time, and that's nice to see that part, so they can just
yeah,
relax a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit because they can get and it was nice to meet that cousin, but it wasn't that big emotional thing that they had to deal with either. It was just a fun, "You can give me some information, and we can have a good
Right,
time," and they
right.
need that. They don't need for every week to be
Drama.
so much
Yeah,
drama and
yeah,
so emotional. I can't even imagine if it was 10 days of that. It'd just be you'd need a lot of therapy after that, I think. So it was good to see them having a really, really fun day.
yeah,
Team Red ended up, playing hockey with their cousin, and it was, Maria's cousin on her mom's side, and, they were able also to pull out a big family tree as well, and she was able to look at it and kinda see, all the people that she'd found so far and say, "Well, I've met one brother, but look at all these people I haven't met yet." So
yeah, yeah,
she's got a lot of people, whether she meets them on the show, she's got a lot of people afterwards, they need to have a big family reunion with all those brothers and sisters, which I'm kinda hoping that at some point she ends up at a house where they're all there. Wouldn't that be
yeah,
so
yeah. Be
cool?
really cool.
That would
I
be really
was I
cool.
was thinking, I mean, when it came out that it was on her mom's side and she'd met, just met her mom, it really was jumped out at me. Does her mom know this? And
Yeah,
thinking of her
yeah.
wanting to share this with her new mom now. So
Right, right. Exactly, exactly. So, who knows? Who knows what day 7 will bring,
yeah,
you know? So, I really do hope that there's knocking on a door and it opens up and they're all there.
yeah, yeah,
That would just be so fun. So, I really hope that that happens for her. And then, of course, they did go play hockey, and I mean, they're very, physically active anyway, so I know that was really fun for them. They had a really, really good time. So, another team that you know, oh, a day of because she's had several days of intense,
yeah,
um, interactions, and then Team Black, of course, had such a hard time finding their relatives home. They kept getting wrong information from people, and I felt bad because, you can only trust so much what people are telling you, and so what do you do if they send you the wrong way?
yeah,
You have to trust what they're doing. So anyway, so they finally got to the relative's house, and he was fun. He was an umpire, and so he took them to play baseball. And again, they had a really nice time playing baseball.
yeah,
So
yeah.
relaxing and all that stuff. So I thought that was really fun for them. It was another good relaxing moment, and we are able to talk to him and have dinner with him and all that. That was really nice. I thought that was a good relaxing time.
Yeah, and they really appreciated the spirituality of that
Mhm.
cousin. It was really important to
Yes.
them, and
Yes.
I thought that was really
I thought that
a
was
really
great.
neat connection that they
Mhm.
had.
I think so too. I think so too. And I wonder, I mean, this whole day, they've got the 2 strikes. They were probably kind of concerned about that too, and here they are. It took them so long to find the cousin's house. That's got to be stressful, but to be able to go and play the baseball and have such a nice meeting with him, that
Yeah,
had to
yeah, yeah,
relax them
yeah,
a bit.
yeah.
Well, I've kind of left Team Blue to the end because they had a very emotional meeting with Shanta's cousin. And do you want to talk about meeting her, the cousin that she met, and the
Well, that
connection?
yeah, that the cousin didn't know, had never met any relatives or no relatives on that side that they connected on. And so, again, it's these people, the contestants on this show that are in it, signed up for themselves because I want the information and I want the money or whatever the
Yeah.
motivation is. But it's I'm sure um, coming, from and I hate to use the word selfish, but a more selfish perspective
Hmm.
when they start. This is about me, and
Yes.
then
When they
they get
start,
into
yes.
it, and they see
Yeah.
that what their action in getting on the show and how that has touched and helped other people.
Mhm. And
It
we've
really is
really,
so valuable.
yeah, we've seen a lot of that this
Yeah,
particular season, and
yeah,
so, you know, we were kind of talking ahead of time. Wouldn't it be cool if we see their journey? If maybe they'll be on season 6, or
yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah,
and take over from, I'd love to see if they're able to help them
yeah.
find, and I'd like to see who they find, just don't throw that at us, please, and then
Yeah,
not let us see what happens from that.
exactly. Yeah,
We want to know. So
yeah,
just that emotion of you are the
yeah,
first relative I've ever met on my dad's side,
yeah,
and the tears, and Chandra had said that she had eyelashes flying and mascara running. It's really cute. It was
yeah,
emotional, and of course, Demetrius was like, "I know exactly how you feel because I've got that hole, and this was my experience until I came on this show."
yeah,
So
yeah,
he could really bond with her on that level
yeah,
because he completely understood. Yeah, and you could see how joyful she was to be able
yeah,
to be part of that process to help her
yeah.
cousin. So,
And Demetrius was really, I thought, almost like planting the seed that, yeah, she needs to be on next season.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. So we'll
yeah,
see. That would
yeah,
be
yeah.
that would be so great. It's almost like a sequel. It's
Yeah.
almost like season 5, the sequel. you know? So, yeah, that would be really cool because 'cause we've had several of these happen, to
Yeah,
the team.
yeah,
So it's not just the one time. So that just, I mean, it's like they've done it again, Relative Race
yeah,
has done it again. So I just think that must be
yeah,
interesting for them too, as they are, looking through and finding these matches to see this and go, "Oh my gosh, not
yeah.
only are we helping this team, but we're helping somebody else." Because you can't plan for that. There's no way to
Mm,
plan for that.
right, right.
It just happens. So
Yeah,
I just thought that was just really cool, and I'm just really excited that they're being able to do that this season.
yeah.
And like I said, come on, Relative Race.
If we ever get Dan or anybody from the show back on, I'd
Yeah,
love to really ask that question
yeah, we'll
because
work on that. Yeah.
they have, I'm sure they come up with more than 10 matches that they could fix these people up with. And
Mhm,
geography is going to
mhm.
enter into it and some other things, but this kind of story that we can help this other person too. And does that tip the scales in someone's favor? So I'd
And
like to
but
know what they say.
I hope that it does.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope that it does,
Oh, I
because that
know.
way you're
Yeah,
helping somebody else. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's a TV show and they want good TV, but you would think that, just the nature of the show and the people that we've met that work with the show, and their intent is the family part is the most important thing.
yeah, yeah,
It is a race and it is a contest and there's rules, but at the end of the day, as Dan always says, it's the family connections that we're here
yeah,
for. And
yeah,
and he
yeah,
means it. It's not, I
yeah,
don't think it's just statement that he says every time. I really do think that the production crew and everybody that works on the show, I really do think
Yeah.
that they believe in that. And I think that's why it makes the show special,
Yeah.
is because in their hearts, that really is what's most important.
Yeah. It really does come out in the show and
Hmm.
the feelings you get when you watch it. I mean, there's a lot of editing, I'm sure, that goes
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
but they're telling the right story. They're not telling the
Mhm.
backstabbing race survivor
Right.
horrid kind of story. It's
Yeah.
the love story that they're telling.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, as we always do at the end of each episode, we have to go to the Skype call, which really is one of my favorite parts, is the actual Skype call, not the results.
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
results so much,
Yeah. Dan
but
just
the
needs to stop talking.
Skype, yeah, the Skype call, and to watch Dan, talk to them and how excited he is about what they've learned and who they've met, and how much they support each other. It's just, it gets tighter and tighter, that group, that you can just feel it
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
day. They're really cheering each other on, and I just love that they introduce the relatives to the other teams, and how
Yeah.
excited, and they'll cry for them, and they get excited for them, and the look on all their faces when she said, "This is the first relative I've ever met." They were like, "Oh," like, "Oh my gosh,"
Yeah.
and I'm sure their thoughts were, "Oh my gosh, it's happened again."
Yeah.
But we've
Yeah.
we've helped, because I think almost each of the teams has had something like that happen. So that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
amazing that it just so happened that that happened on this season, because you can't, like, you can't make that up. You can't
Right.
you
Right.
can't
Yeah.
force that to happen. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was really great. So
Yeah.
we come down to the results, and on the line for the winner is either the day 10 benefit or
Immunity.
immunity. Immunity. And of course, everybody's going, you got to take immunity. You got to take immunity. Anybody that, wins. So Team Blue comes in first. And what did they choose?
Day 10 benefit.
Day 10. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if that plays out for them, because they're the first team that's ever chosen day 10 instead of immunity. So it'll be interesting to see. But they've only got the
Yeah.
one strike.
It was
So
interesting too, the order of that, because when they took it, they didn't know who was going to get the strike.
that's true. That's
And
true. You're
so
right.
there could have been still three teams competing against, or just two.
You're
And
right.
and that really mathematically makes a difference,
It
I think, on how
does
many
make
strikes are left to get.
exactly.
And
So, yeah.
so, yeah, we'll see how it works out for them. I
Yeah,
mean,
I hope they don't think back and, go, "Oh, I really should have done that," because there's
well,
nothing
but
you can
it's the
do, but
strategy of the game.
that's the
Yeah.
strategy of the game, and I think
Yeah.
everybody else was just like, "What?
Yeah.
What? They didn't choose? Who
Yeah.
would wanna
Yeah.
choose immunity?" But it's just, it's a gamble since they've only got the one strike. I guess they figured,
They've
the
got
day
3 days
they've
and
got
can get,
mhm.
to,
Exactly.
got
So let's
room.
hope.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So then, Team Red came in second, then Team Green, and then unfortunately, our sweet little
Twins.
Team
Yeah.
Black gets their third strike, and it was so sad. It was really
Yeah.
sad, but, they were so gracious. They were so gracious, and they were talking about how, if we have to go so that you guys can continue the race to meet your relatives, then we're good with that.
Yeah.
We're good with
Yeah.
that, because 'cause they'd said, "We have waited for so long,
Yeah.
and we do have information on our dad now. We can take this information and move forward." And I just thought that was just it was just so sweet and so
Yeah.
gracious that they put it that way, "If we have to
Yeah.
go so
Yeah.
that you can continue, then we are willing to do that," instead of just, "Oh, bye, we had fun," that kinda thing. So
Yeah.
I loved that. I thought that was really wonderful, and so but Mary, do you wanna tell us about what happened after that? What
Well, they said that they because they had one day 10 benefit that they'd won, and they said you can give the day 10 benefit back, and we'll let you meet another relative. So next week, I think we're going to see some more of their journey. They won't be in the
It's
competition part.
right, but we're gonna see it because the
Yeah,
commercial for next week showed them.
yeah,
So, obviously, they filmed the next relative, and I'm thinking, must have been important for them. So,
yeah.
I wonder how many people are taking bets that it's their dad.
Yeah,
'Cause who wouldn't wanna, who wouldn't wanna see that? So,
yeah, yeah,
I'm really hoping that that's who it is. So, at least we'll get to see them for one more, even though they're not part of the competition, we'll get to see them for day 7 and see. And then, of course,
yeah.
anybody else that they found for them, they give them everything, and it's their choice whether they want to continue on and go find these people. So, at least it's not, "Oh, well, you got your 3rd strike, you're going home, and that's
Yeah.
it," you know,
It,
and
it and I think the series, the producers have seen how this has played out, and they've really kind of morphed their attitude about it because that first season, I mean, they picked up the people that night and said, "That's it, you're going home. Here's a plane," and we
exactly.
were just like, "No!"
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I think that the producers know now how much, not only the contestants are invested in this, but the audience. And these are our friends too. And no, you can't take them away from us.
Exactly, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want them to find their family.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. So, yeah, and even this season, they're showing us so much more of the family. I mean, they're doing the race. The race part is still important, but we're not seeing as much what happens in the car during the
yeah,
day. Just little snippets of the songs and the
yeah.
texting and the wrong directions, that kind of thing. And then we've only
Right.
got one challenge. We've got
Yeah,
one challenge that they all do, and then all that time they spend with their relatives. So we're seeing those
yeah,
bonds with the relatives, and we're kind of bonding with the relatives and
yeah,
everybody as
yeah,
we're
yeah,
meeting them.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, the show has really come a long way since the first season, and they're on the right
yeah,
track. They're absolutely
yeah.
on the right track.
I always
Yeah.
say more relative, less race, and they're
Yeah.
they're they're really
And
there.
and
Yeah,
and that's it. I think they've got
yeah,
the right combination now
yeah,
because we still
yeah,
want it's important to see the race
yeah,
because that's how they're gonna win at the end, and we wanna see that because that's always fun too. But this bonding with
yeah.
their family, and I wrote down, what Dan said at the end. He's always says something really good at the end. So he said, "At the end of the day, when you knock on the door, the only thing you know is there's family on the other side, and
Oh,
that's most important."
yeah, yeah,
Oh, and that's so true, really.
yeah,
Getting to that end and who you meet is the most important thing about this race. And yes, it's always nice to be the winner on day 10 and all that, but and we're gonna root for one. I don't even know. I don't even care. I've gotten
I
to the
know.
point the last couple of seasons. I don't have I mean, I have in the past. I've had a couple of favorite teams, but I've gotten to the maybe it's because they're showing us more relative and less race.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah,
because they figured out that balance, and so we're connecting to the teams in a way that we really don't want any of them to go home
yeah,
because we
yeah,
want to see the family element. We want to see those connections, and we want to cry with them, and we want to
yeah,
laugh with them
yeah,
and celebrate with them. So, it's always get out those tissues, Kleenex, whatever you call it, from wherever part of the country you're from, get them out and be prepared because
yeah.
you're gonna cry. You're gonna cry. You can't help it. So, day 7 next time. Was there anything else, Mary, that you wanted that we
I
forgot to
think we
bring up,
covered it.
or
I know. I think we covered it. So
okay, I think so too. So excited for day 7. So excited to see who Team Black is going to meet. If it's not their dad, I'm gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, it must still be an important person." It's got
yeah,
to be
yeah,
for
yeah,
them to give them that choice because
yeah,
this is the first time they've given that choice to a team that got the 3rd strike. And I know there's been teams before that have gotten that 3rd strike that had a benefit. So
yeah, yeah,
this has got to be
yeah,
very, very important, that they
yeah.
really want to film and they want everybody to see. So I'm excited for
Me
that and
too.
to
Me
see.
too. I
I
just
know.
can't wait to hear that destination.
I know.
Yeah,
The destination is going to be a big clue.
yeah,
A
yeah,
big clue because Some of us have researched some things
Yeah.
and have some
Guilty.
suspicions
Yeah.
of where daddy might be. So if they're going to that place, Mary's going to be
Yeah.
sitting there going, and she's going to know before any of the rest of us what's going to happen. And so she'll
Yeah.
come back next week and go, I told you so. I told you so. Anyway,
Yeah.
on that note, and also before we end, I would just like to give our love to the people of Paris and what a devastating day they've
Mhm.
had to watch that fire. I've been there
Yeah.
as a teenager, and so just to see that is just terrible. So we would like to
Yeah.
share our love
Yes,
to
yeah.
them and hope that some of those precious artifacts and history can be saved because that's what that's what we do. That's what we love, the history
Right.
and
Yeah,
records and
yeah.
family and we don't want to see that happen to any historic building. And so
No.
what a sad day that was. So I just wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah.
share our love
Thanks for bringing that up.
to the
Yeah,
people of
yeah.
Paris. So and on that note, we will see you next time on Gen Friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.